If you've recently started to feel like something strange and unexpected has begun to shift in your life, you are not alone. We are currently experiencing a Sun-Uranus Cazimi in the sign of Taurus. And when the transiting planet Uranus conjoins with the Sun in something that we call a Cazimi, something strange and unexpected will begin to occur. The planet Uranus is very known for rebellion, innovation, but it's also known for disruptive change or just like unexpected things happening. Planet Uranus is known to throw kind of like a curveball in your life. And depending how it's aspected in the sky, this can either bring very radical luck or it can also bring something just kind of disruptive in your life as well. Think of things like the dishwasher randomly breaking or looking at all the cans of soda you just got and one of them doesn't have a label on it. Something just like strange and unexpected will begin to occur in your life within the next week or so. Currently in the sky, the planet Uranus is 5 degrees away from the Sun in Taurus, and it will make an exact conjunction on the 17th. And when it does, we are going to be working up this astrological event known as a Cazimi. Things might begin to shift and change collectively for us, and we will see this curveball begin to happen as it relates to the sign of Taurus. Taurus energy is very known for earthly things, building structures, food, anything that brings us comfort and makes us happy. So when we have a Sun-Uranus Cazimi in the sign of Taurus, we will begin to see just radical change and disruption as it pertains to those themes. This one that we are going to be experiencing in May of 2025 is going to be trine to the planet Pluto. And this is going to bring some sort of transformation there. So we might not necessarily get the negative effects of Uranus. This instead could translate into more positive effects. For example, we could see a change in the stock market as Taurus rules over our finances. So collectively as a society, we could begin to see the stock market go up. We might also begin to have new people come out of the woodwork with an innovation with how we live. It could be some sort of innovation in housing or again, like building structures. Somebody could come out of the blue and be like, I have this new innovation in this. And then it begins to revolutionize how we live and how we relate to real estate. We might also see someone come out of the woodwork and be like, I have this new innovation for cars and how we drive. You might begin to see that beginning now all the way through the end of next week around May 23rd. There is a potential with something happening with our food. Maybe egg prices begin to change again, or maybe all of a sudden there's something like an E. coli outbreak. Something very radical will happen, and because it is trine to the planet Pluto currently, it might transform how we access that food as well. Again, maybe something happens where there's an E. coli outbreak with romaine lettuce again, and then all of a sudden everybody just goes and buys spinach instead. You're gonna find like there's something radical changing, and because it's trine to the planet Pluto, it's gonna bring a transformation. Trines are typically more favorable and more positive aspects than squares, and when there's a trine, it typically will bring more positive things in than if it was in more of a harsh aspect like a square. So again, even though we're gonna have a Sun-Uranus Cazimi, it might take on more of a positive tonality than if it were square to everything. We could have something very radical happening that would take on more of a negative light. As a society, we might also see, again, things happening with finances. The stock market might go up or change in some way. We might see more fluctuations with it. And this change might bring in more of a transformation within our finances as a collective and our shared resources. We could also find, again, there could be some sort of radical transformation as it pertains to housing or food. And again, think of it like all of a sudden there is a disruption with food and then we transform it after it. Definitely because Pluto is going to be trine to that energy, that is going to be kind of the energy that this Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to bring. Again, I feel like it's very easy to look at Uranus transits as something negative happening because again, if you have a negative Uranus transit, it can bring in some sort of radical, strange disruption, especially if it is harshly aspected, like squared or even in opposition to things. So something under a negative transit could occur like your dishwasher breaking, or all of a sudden there is a tornado or a hurricane or something like that. Strange, unexpected, very fast, but again, something like an earthquake or a hurricane, and especially in the sign of Taurus, that can happen when it's harshly aspected. However, this Sun-Uranus Cazimi isn't necessarily harshly aspected, it's more positively aspected. So think of it again like there is some sort of change in our communications as a society, and all of a sudden the stock market starts to go up And then after that, we reassess what we did previously. And now there is an innovation in the stock market and things start to skyrocket again. That could very likely happen for us as a society. So the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to start today on Tuesday the 13th, and the transiting sun is going to start aspecting the planet Uranus within 5 degrees. Throughout the rest of the week and until the 17th, things are going to start to unfold very fast. And when we reach the 17th, the sun will be making an exact conjunction to the planet Uranus. On that day, we might find there's a radical change in something. And again, I am predicting that it'll be more of a favorable change than more of a negative light because of the way this Cazimi is going to be aspected. We are going to continue to feel the effects of this until about May 23rd, when it is no longer going to be aspecting Uranus within 5 degrees. And we might find that now on the 13th all the way through the 17th, disruptive change starts to occur. And then once it makes an exact conjunction on the 17th, that is when we feel the effects the most. And then we start to process what happened within the coming week. Now, to find how this is going to affect you personally, I'm going to go ahead and go through all of the rising signs, but be sure to check your sun, moon, and rising in order to gain a full picture of how this will affect you. If you're an Aries rising, you might find that the Sun-Uranus Cazimi could affect your earning power. You could all of a sudden have this great idea for a side hustle, and all of a sudden it really starts to initiate a radical change in your own personal earning power. Maybe you start your own business, or maybe you start a product or start an online shop that all of a sudden starts to bring radical change in your earning power. During this time, you could also have ideas to do this. Like maybe you have a really cool idea for an innovative product and it is very radical from what you've done in the past, but this gives you the potential to really tap into something that will allow you to really increase your earning power. Think ideas coming in very fast and then you creating this thing within the coming weeks in order to really tap into this new energy, really start to up your earning power. You have an opportunity or somebody comes in with an opportunity that will allow you to increase your own personal earning power. You could have an opportunity that will allow you to tap into your skills as a designer or a video editor, and you get an opportunity to increase your earning power through your skills. You might find that you could also get an opportunity through your current work life where your boss or your coworker enters your life and they ask you, can you help us with this project for extra money or a raise or a bonus? We want you to use your skills in order to help us with this thing that we're currently working on. You might also receive an unexpected opportunity like that. And when you really play into these opportunities, you'll find that because the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is favorably aspected to Pluto currently, this might transform your life. It might transform the way you make money. It might transform you tapping into this new extra opportunity that will allow you to increase your personal earning power through the long term. It will stay with you for a long time and transform the way you see things and transform the way that you personally make money. If you're a Taurus rising, you might find that the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to bring some sort of radical change with your appearance. You might find that right now you kind of have a elevated public image. Who you are in the spotlight is currently undergoing a major transformation. So is your career. And you could find that your appearance is going to now be a major way of how you make money and how you are seen in the spotlight. You might have somebody out of the blue give you an opportunity to change your appearance. And again, because of Uranus, think radical change, radical disruption. Maybe somebody gives you the opportunity to change your hair color, or maybe somebody gives you the opportunity to work with a well-known fashion designer or a well-known photographer to elevate who you are in the public eye even further. You might find that somebody reaches out to you randomly and says, I'm a fashion designer. Do you want to work with me? I can make you custom clothing, and you can use this when you're on camera or in the spotlight or at work. You might also find that you receive these opportunities and it allows you to really elevate your public image more than anything else. And again, you could find yourself transforming and shifting into a new line of work where you are now making money off of your appearance as well. Again, think Uranus throwing a curveball into your life. If you had previously been making a living off of your mind and working for a company where you use your skills in order to profitize off of what you can do as a person, you might find this transformation into more of an appearance-based role where you use your appearance in order to make a living for yourself. And again, you can find that Uranus is throwing this curveball in that might open up windows of opportunity for you where you can really go through a glow up or transform your appearance in order to really increase your earning power in this new way. If you're a Gemini rising, you might find that there is some sort of strange thing happening in your life that might put you in a position where you need to be by yourself and you will need to be alone. You're currently experiencing a number of different things happening with who you are in the public eye. You might have recently had some sort of promotion at work through the past year, and now you want to shift and change the way you see things into being more of somebody who networks with other people, or you primarily share who you are on social media and in a medium that you can connect with large groups of people on the regular. And now you might find that Uranus is going to throw this curveball into your life where it wants you to be by yourself more and tap into large groups of people in a different way. Whether you had recently been on stage or in an office where you had recently worked with a lot of people and others had this elevated viewpoint of you, you might find that the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to throw some sort of curveball into your life and be like, okay, you can still do this, but you need to be more by yourself. You can't necessarily be giving your energy away to all of these people. You need to do it in a way that you can be in your own energy, and you don't necessarily need to be sharing yourself and giving other people direct access to you. Maybe you need to do this more in a way that you are more by yourself and in your own energy, and then tap into this energy a lot further. And you might find, Gemini rising, that within the coming months, you'll have this opportunity to be by yourself, but then also be able to tap into your own earning power in order to elevate your finances and transform it in a more favorable way. And you might find that this really is going to be the thing that initiates this new period of your life. However, it could come in like a band-aid coming off. You could feel like all of a sudden it's like radical, disruptive. It just happens. But then you begin to pick up the pieces and change your life in a way that you can earn more and increase your own earning power with the skills that you have. If you're a Cancer rising, you could have recently been very elevated in your career or elevated in the public eye in some way. You could have had a promotion at work. You could have had more of a serious undertone about who you want to be in the public eye, who you want to be in your career, how you want other people to see you at work. And now you could also be tapping more into your creative gifts as well and your creativity in general. And with the Sun-Uranus Cazimi, you could feel like this is going to bring some sort of radical change into your life that is going to allow you to tap into large groups of people, not necessarily just one-on-one relationships or being in a group of like 5 to 10 people. We're talking like more than thousands of people at the same time. You might also feel like you're currently transforming the way that you tap into other people's resources. You could all of a sudden start to get these inklings of wanting to become a business owner or wanting to start your own product line or really start to make your own way in this world and start your own business in order to tap into being able to elevate your finances and transform your finances. You might find that the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to bring in a disruption in the way that you speak to large groups of people. You might find that all of a sudden you are posting more on social media, and the new business that you just created, you are now promoting that more and more often. Maybe you start a product and now you're sharing it on something like TikTok Shop, or maybe you are sharing it with lots of people. Maybe you create your product line and you post it on Instagram. Think something like that that brings you the opportunity to tap into those large groups of people and elevate your own earning power in that way. You might also find that this can come in very fast and unexpectedly, like it'll just happen for you, like it'll just radically disrupt something in your life, and then all of a sudden the curveball is thrown and now you're put into this position. And use who you are in the public eye in order to increase your reach further and also be able to tap into these resources in this manner. If you're a Leo rising, you might find that you have some sort of radical change with who you are in the public eye. Throughout the past month, you could have all of a sudden gotten that promotion at work, or you could have been elevated in the public eye in some way. You could have found that this new promotion you got at work or this new position you have in the limelight is going through kind of like a radical disruption. Like maybe all of a sudden people see you differently, or maybe you get another promotion. Maybe you go from being a manager to more of like a vice president very easily, and it might come into your life very fast. It could just happen like like all of a sudden something happens in the hierarchy of where you work or in the office, and how you are the chosen person to step into this role and be this person who can now leads a team of people. Because this is also trined Pluto currently, you might find that there is going to be a transformation in your relationship. Maybe you also start to attract more powerful people in your life who open doors for you. Maybe you finally get signed with a record label and all of a sudden now you have a change in your career. Think transformation and powerful people entering your life to help you transform your public image very radically and unexpectedly. Think all of a sudden someone picks you up and now you are the star of a movie or something like that. Maybe you're the star of a Hollywood film and it just happens very radically. Think of walking down the street and someone picks you up and says, "Would you want to be in my movie?" Something like that very quickly could happen to you, and it could very radically enter your life very fast and unexpectedly. And again, think powerful people entering your life and transforming your public image. It could happen very, very fast. You might also find that if you work in real estate or if you work in a more client-based industry, you could find that all of a sudden you gain a ton of sales very fast. Something like that could happen in your life very suddenly and unexpectedly that will transform the way you appear in the public eye and also your career in the long run. It'll transform your success. Think blink of an eye, all of a sudden you're on a Hollywood set, or blink of an eye, all of a sudden you've made X amount in sales for your company that you work for. Something like that will happen in your life that will also put more powerful people in your life so you can really become the next version of you. If you're a Virgo rising, you might find that all of a sudden you begin to get a travel opportunity. Something will happen in your life that will all of a sudden usher in a travel opportunity or a vacation. You might find that you currently have a lot of power in the place that you work and with your coworkers. People could be speaking very favorably about you, and you could then get an opportunity to travel for work. And it could happen very unexpectedly. It might come in very suddenly and unexpectedly, and then all of a sudden you're on a plane to go to a business meeting halfway across the world. Something, again, very unexpectedly will happen for you as it pertains to travel. You might also find that maybe because of the way that your coworkers are hyping you up or the people who you work with are hyping you up, your company all of a sudden is like, let's make sure this person has their MBA. And it comes in very suddenly and unexpectedly in your life. Just something very unexpectedly ushers in, and you could get reached out to through email and they're like, do you want to get your MBA or do you want to get your master's, and our company will pay for it. You might find that you have some sort of opportunity like that as well, and it happens very unexpectedly. Maybe the people at your company want to train you so you can then step into a high leadership position at work, and they give you this opportunity to increase your higher education career in order to step into this new role at work and have the credentials and the credibility and the certification to be like, here you go, now you can have this leadership position in our company because we paid for your master's degree. You now have your MBA, you now have your doctorate in order to really boost your credibility in your chosen field. You could very easily have something like that happen in your life. And again, you might also find that maybe your company does something very radically and fast and they pay for your education, but you also have to travel for it and all expenses are covered. You could have something very fast, unexpectedly happen in your life, again, through email, through a text, through a call from somebody at your job. You might also find that this transforms your career and how you're seen at work. You might also find that your relationships with your coworkers are changed and your whole work life changes because of this sudden opportunity that happens in your life. If you're a Libra rising, throughout the spring, you have been working really, really hard at this new path that you're going on, this new career path where you might even find that you could be working for yourself and living off of being a creative person or an artist or living off of your creativity. And you might find that the universe wants to open a new door for you that will allow you to increase your revenue and increase how much money you make. And you might find that you have been working day and night so hard at this new path that you're really going on. And this is really just the calm before the storm, before you start to have your breakthrough that is going to come for you during the summer months. When you really start to have your breakthrough that is going to happen for you throughout the next year. You might also find that this new opportunity that either pops into your head or somebody gives you the idea to do will really allow you to make mass, fast gains. Again, think unexpected unexpected money. Think a lot of money at the same time. Like think like all of a sudden you make a very large windfall unexpectedly. Something where you don't have to work that hard for, but it just happens because of how valuable it is to an audience. Maybe all of a sudden you make a product and then that product flies off the shelves and you have a product that went viral. And in turn, you get a large financial windfall of money unexpectedly, very fast. That is kind of the energy that is coming in for you, Libra Rising. You might also find that this new door and window of opportunity, this new idea that you are given between now and the 17th and then through the 23rd, you might all of a sudden get the idea and then you start planning now and then making sure everything is ready and set to go within the next week or so. Again, Jupiter about to be aspecting your midheaven. You might find that this is just another door of opportunity opening for you. When you really step into that new elevation with who you are in the public eye, you might find that this thing that you create now is going to set the tone for the next year of like how you're going to be really making large financial gains, how you're going to be able to financially support yourself more realistically than how you were previously. You might be transitioning from working harder to working smarter and focusing in on those things that will allow you to be able to make larger financial profits than previously. Again, you have this new idea to work smarter rather than harder, and you could find that you are now thinking of things in more of a concise way instead of being so busy with everything that you're doing. Scorpio Rising, you might find that with the Sun-Uranus Cazimi, there is going to be a sudden disruption and change in your relationships. You've recently had a lot of focus on your work life currently, as well as with Mars going through your 10th house, you could begin to have kind of like issues with authority, and you could begin to take on more of an aggressive tone with your previous authority figures, and also really focusing on your coworkers as well. You could have previously in past years had really good working relationships with them. You could have had a wonderful relationship with authority figures with the place that you work and really, really good relationships with your coworkers, but something could come in for you and happen for you unexpectedly that shifts the entire dynamic. Maybe you have more of a drive to be in a leadership position yourself and you feel like you're getting smacked down every time you try, especially with Mars going through your 10th house currently. And now you might find that a radical change just like happens for you in your life with the Sun-Uranus Cazimi that begins to shift and change these relationships. Maybe all of a sudden you change jobs and you're like, I don't want to work in this environment anymore because I'm having issues with the authority figures. And then you switch jobs and either become self-employed or you switch to another company where you have more autonomy and more authority over what you do. You might feel like you want to shift into a new place where you're not like constantly being smacked down, and instead you'll be able to pull yourself up in the new place that you work for and pull yourself all the way up instead. You might also find that you have recently had a big transformation about how you approach your family life, your home life. Maybe you also begin to have issues with authority because you have this change and this desire to purchase a home or move into a new home or really start to have a family and start a family. You might find that is your goal, and in order to get that goal, you have to get that raise at work or you have to get that promotion at work. And you might not be able to do it in the place that you currently work, or again, you could be having issues with your coworkers and authority figures trying to hold you down and put you in a place where you know you are more than that. They don't necessarily want you to. And even though you have these goals with your family life currently where you want to start a family, you want to save up for a house or switch apartments or switch where you're renting, but you can't necessarily do it until you get that raise. And you might find that this brings a sudden disruption in those long-term relationships and those long-term contracts that will then allow you to really empower yourself and move into a new position or a new path to allow you to increase your profits instead of being held back by people who are supposed to be authority figures or held back by your coworkers, and allow you to then step into this new era of your life where you are becoming more self-sufficient and be able to really step into your own power. Sagittarius Risings, the Sun-Uranus Cazimi in the sign of Taurus is going to bring some sort of radical change and disruption in your work life. You have been really focused on social media recently. You could have also been more focused on your shopping habits and how you appear to others. You could have currently been kind of obsessed with the way that others present themselves, and you want to change the way that you appear to others and share that on social media. You could be sharing shopping hauls. You could be sharing things like grocery hauls on the internet as well. You could start to find that your focus is so much more rooted in social media currently. And if you had a previous job or some sort of previous work environment, the universe could start to bring in a radical disruption in your work life. You could start to find that all of a sudden there's a radical change, and now you have to solely work on social media instead of work for somebody else, because with Pluto transiting your third house, now you have all this power and really obsessive focus on that place in your life. You might find that your passion is being on social media. Your passion is showing your life, and you can't necessarily do that when you're working for a company. Again, they could want you to just focus on them instead of focusing on what you could be doing if you are just posting on social media instead and becoming a content creator. So you could start to find that this is going to be the week where that radical change begins to happen in your life. That radical shift begins to happen. You go away from traditional structures and traditional patterns in your work life, move towards more of like an innovative direction instead. And you might find that this is going to be the week that you find this new pattern coming in and this new lifestyle coming in. You don't necessarily need to be so tied down to working a traditional job. You could be wanting to focus more on doing something that you can make a profit with your brain and make a profit off of just sharing what you really are more passionate about than working for somebody else. And again, especially around the 17th, you might find that this is going to be the time that you really start to see this coming in for you. And this radical shift begins to happen around that date that will then really set the tone for the next few years for you. Capricorn Rising, you might find that you have been really focused on your own earning power, and the Sun-Uranus Cazimi might bring in a radical shift and disruption in the way that you create. You might find that you start to have new ideas to create things, or you start to have new ideas to really start to tap into large groups of people and change the way that you create things in order to increase your audience reach. You might also find that you in particular really want to create something tangible that you can sell to other people. You might not necessarily just want to be something like a content creator. You could be somebody who really wants to sell products or something physical that people can purchase from you. And this week, especially around the 17th, you might find that this comes in for you. You have that product idea. You have that idea to invest in real estate. You have that idea to start that restaurant or that food business. You might have an idea for a baked good that you can sell online. You might have an idea where you can really tap into creating a physical thing that you can then really transform your own earning power with. Capricorn Rising, these next 20 years for you are going to be primarily focused on your earning power and transforming that, and how you can use your skills and how you present yourself into the world and your charisma and magnetism in order to create something you are going to be sharing with others. Again, you might find this radically happening for you and just radically coming in for you. You could find it happens very fast and unexpectedly, and you're like, I have this idea, I have to make it, this is going to help me make large financial gain, this is the business model I want to go in. You might find that it just happens for you, it just enters your life, and you're like, this is perfect, this is what I want to do. And this is again is going to start to happen for you this week, but it might again go into next week and then the next year, really start to make your dreams happen, and you start to tangibly see results from this. Aquarius Rising, the Sun-Uranus Cazimi for you is really going to be focused on who you are at home. You might be very focused on your home life, where you live. You could have had some sort of change recently happen with your appearance, or maybe you started to find more power in your appearance. And all of a sudden now you're going to start to see this shift in your home life and people who surround you at home. You could all of a sudden have this unexpected thing happen in your life, and you're like, okay, now my home life is completely different from now on. Think about it in the way that maybe you have like something unexpected happen with your family. Maybe you unexpectedly grow your family, or unexpectedly get into like a long-term partnership with someone. Think like getting married in Vegas, that type of thing. Like you meet the person and then you get married the next day. You might also find that you could have a radical change in your relationships with women at this time as well. Maybe you had a friend group that was predominantly women, but because you have all of this transformation and power happening with your appearance, now that group of people is very quickly shift out of your life, and you're going to start to find this is going to start to transform the people who you surround yourself with. You're going to start to see this change in your relationships with women as well. Again, you might find that either it could be very positive, where all of a sudden you get more friends who are women, or all of a sudden you end up transforming your relationships with women and you don't necessarily speak to them as much now. You could also find that maybe you change houses, maybe you randomly have to change apartments, or maybe now is going to be the time that you finally purchase that house, finally purchase that piece of property for you to move into. It's going to be random, unexpected, and fast coming in, especially around the date of the 17th. Think unexpected, fast, and it will just happen in your life. And then you'll find that it transforms you. It transforms your entire life. Again, it's going to be trying to Pluto. So it's not going to be necessarily something that's going to just come in. It's going to be completely transforming your home life in the way that you live from now on. Pisces Rising, you might find that the Sun-Uranus Cazimi is going to transform your relationships on social media. Previously, you could have had a very large following, or you could have been somebody in the spotlight previously, and all of a sudden something changes with that. It could transform your relationships online to being more focused on spirituality. Maybe you start speaking about spiritual things more and more often. Maybe you have some sort of transformation where you can now protect your energy a lot better, and you start to have more focus on spirituality, on the themes that you share on the internet. You might also find that there's going to be a change in your following. Maybe you get a very large influx of followers randomly, or maybe you get a very large mass following. You could also find that leading up to the 17th, you have a viral video, and that viral video all of a sudden increases your reach. All of a sudden it changes your entire lifestyle. Think fast and unexpected, and just like a curveball in your life. It just happens in your life, and then all of a sudden you have a brand new lifestyle. You have a new relationship with social media. You have a brand new relationship with how other people access you as well. Again, maybe you want to be more isolated and by yourself, but online you're somebody always speaking to like large groups of people. That could very well happen for you. And again, Pisces Rising, this could manifest in the way that you have like a viral video on social media, or something happen where you really tap into your spiritual gifts, and that results in something like a very large increase of followers or a viral video all of a sudden. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post new videos every single week, and I will see you in the next one.